and Russia launched an overnight drone attack on Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine, and the southern city of MC alive, killing 5 and leaving at least 24 people injured, authorities reported on April 10, according to the Kyiv City Military Administration. 2 women were hurt in Kyiv. The drone attack also ignited a fire at a storage facility and caused damage to residential buildings in Kyiv. The Ukrainian Air Force said that it successfully shot down 85 of the 145 drones launched by Russia during the assault. An additional 49 drones were likely neutralized by electronic warfare countermeasures before reaching their targets. The fate of the remaining 11 drones, however, has not been clarified yet. Over Kyiv, authorities tracked 30 drones in total, with 16 being destroyed and the others either exiting the airspace or being lost. The air raid sirens sounded at 11:34 p.m. on April 9th and continued until 1:37 a.m., followed by a separate ballistic missile threat around 7 a.m. on April 10th. In Mykolaiv, 10 people were injured in the attack, as reported by Regional Governor Vitaly Kim. The assault also caused damage to 9 apartment buildings, 30 garages, and an administrative building due to falling debris in the Shockwave Point 9 apartment buildings. 3 vehicles, 30 garages, and 1 administrative building were damaged. Fires broke out in 1 apartment in a garage cooperative. While Russia has been denying deliberate targeting of civilians in war-torn Ukraine, the ongoing invasion has resulted in thousands of deaths and injuries. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky claimed that at least 155 Chinese nationals are fighting for Russia in the war. Zelensky comments came after 2 Chinese fighters were captured in the territory of Ukraine earlier this week. The Chinese issue is serious. There are 155 people with surnames with passport data, 155 Chinese citizens who are fighting against Ukrainians on the territory of Ukraine. We are collecting information. We believe that there are many more of them for these 155. We have passport data, where they are from their Chinese documents, age, etc., also places of service, point 70th, 71st, 250th Motorized Rifle Regiments, etc. Speaking to journalists on April 9th, Zelensky claimed that they have captured 2 Chinese nationals who were fighting for the Russian army in eastern Ukraine's Donetsk region, as reported by Reuters. He also claimed that Ukrainian intelligence had information about 155 Chinese citizens fighting for the Russian military against Ukraine. The Ukraine president further claimed that the Russians are recruiting citizens of the People's Republic of China, in particular through social networks, TikTok, and other Chinese social networks. Official Beijing knows about this. The Russians distribute advertising videos about recruitment through Chinese social networks. Non-secret recruitment is important. Maybe there is also a secret one. Zelensky added that after recruitment, these people arrive in Moscow, where they undergo 3 to 4 days of medical examinations and 1 to 2 months training. They fight on the territory of Ukraine. They receive migration cards as well as a card of the Mir payment system, for which they receive money respectively. China has rejected Ukrainian claims that many Chinese citizens are serving in Russian military units after 2 Chinese were allegedly captured on the battlefield in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region. Speaking to reporters at a regular press briefing on April 9th, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian said the Chinese government always requested its citizens to stay away from areas of armed conflict and avoid being involved in armed conflict in any form. Those who have a whole gun view. This statement is groundless. China's position on the Ukrainian crisis issue is clear and widely recognized by the international community. Ukraine should correctly view China's efforts and constructive role in seeking a political solution to the Ukrainian crisis. China's foreign ministry on April 10th reiterated its neutral approach and called for a sober view of its role in the Ukraine crisis. When asked about Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's statement that Chinese citizens were involved in the war and are being widely recruited, I would like to reiterate that China is not the creator of the Ukrainian crisis, nor is it a party concerned. We are a firm supporter and active promoter of the peaceful settlement of the crisis. The Chinese government has always requested its citizens to stay away from armed conflict zones and avoid being involved in armed conflicts in any form, and in particular to refrain from participating in military action on either side. That we advise the parties concerned to correctly and soberly understand the role of China and to not publish irresponsible comments. Dismissing Zelensky's comments on China's involvement in Russia-Ukraine war. Russian spokesperson Dmitry Peskov on April 10th said Beijing has a balanced position on the issue. When asked about Zelensky's remarks, Peskov said Moscow was not dragging Beijing into the conflict. Can you talk to Beijing? And this is not true. China has a balanced position. China is our strategic partner, friend, comrade. China has always had a very, very balanced position. So Zelensky is wrong to think that everything Russia and China had declared a no-limit strategic partnership. Days before, Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered tens of thousands of troops into a special military operation in Ukraine in February 2022.